Yes, that was of course the commercial break, and this is WoW Radio with Baloo, please, here with Total Biscuit. Now, WoW Idol. Someone seemed to have this mistaken idea in Faris that, yes, what's his name? Yes, Faris seems to believe that's a joke. WoW Idol is deadly serious. It is no joke, folks. I shall tell you what it involves. It's a linked competition. It's basically WoW Radio and WoW Azza, a WoW fan site. That's wow.azza.com. Is organising the WoW Idol competition. Will be hosting the first ever World of Warcraft Idol. Short version is basically this. You create a song related to World of Warcraft and you send it in. Then 3 judges determine the top 7 entries. Those 7 will be aired on a special edition of WoW Radio and then made available to the general public. You then vote on the songs to determine who will be the first ever World of Warcraft Idol. The winner will receive a game card worth 2 months of gameplay. The other 6 finalists will receive either a WoW Radio or WoW Azza t-shirt. So let's face it, it's fun, kids. Really, it is. No kidding. It's a hell of a lot of fun. And the idea is you make something totally and utterly ludicrous. Now, I've heard some of the entries already and they are fantastic, so you've got a bit of competition there. And it's not for the prizes. The prizes, well, let's be honest, the prizes aren't that great, but then again, it's better than nothing, isn't it? I know it is not an official World of Warcraft Blizzard competition. The amount of people that believe that and don't read posts before replying with their trolling little drivel is amazing. WoW Idol is WoW Radio and WoW Azza. 2 fan sites, completely paid for by the people that run them. So get involved. Visit wcradio.com for further information. And if you want to enter, the deadline for submissions is 11:59 PM Eastern Standard Time on June the 30th. So that's pretty soon. What, 10 days from now? So get something in. Now, apparently, we're not allowed to enter. At least the WoW Radio staff can't enter. Like, that's not fair, really. Yeah, I'm gonna ninja the t-shirt. It better be an epic t-shirt. Ah. Anyway, back to the leaked patch notes. Now, I've already had our little mage wine for today and all that kind of thing, so let's focus on some more positive aspects of the patch. It's not that great a patch, let's face it. It's not like they're introducing fabulous new game-changing features, but we can't expect that every time. So, we've got our Battlegrounds, that's cool. We can wait. Right, now apparently this one's quite interesting. Following up in the likes of the crazy Easter egg hunt thing and the Orphans quest. There is a new thing, and it's called the Darkmoon Fair. And it says this: a gathering of the exotic from around the world and beyond. Asylus Darkmoon has brought together the Darkmoon Fair as a celebration of the wondrous and mysterious world of Azeroth. While the fair spends most of its time in parts unknown, they do stop from time to time in Mulgore and Elwyn Forest. When the fair is on its way, barkers will stop by Ogrimmar and Ironforge to announce its arrival. Now, I'm hoping for some seriously good mini-games here. I want quests like, I don't know, gnome bowling. So I get to throw a gnome down an aisle into a pile full of metal spikes. Or dwarf tossing. Yeah, absolutely. That kind of thing. Something we can abuse the Alliance with. And have fun at the same time. Fantastic. Now, I'm really hoping that this fair doesn't stop in the middle of nowhere and become a little gank fest. That would be pretty terrible. Imagine the Lobies go along the fair. Yay, mammy, we're going to the fair. Fantastic. Oh, you've just been killed by a level 60. I would ask any level 60s thinking about it not to do it. Don't do it, or we'll come and kidnap your pets. Yeah? And if you don't have any pets, we'll kidnap your grandmother. If you don't have a grandmother, we'll, I don't know, steal your pens or something. Either way, it's an idle threat over the internet. So I demand you do not do it. Anyway, the Darkmoon Fair. It's going to be some kind of fairground, one would imagine. Hopefully it's got some freak shows in there as well. Probably with gnomes in as well. It kind of defeats the whole point of the whole fairground freak show thing. Go and see the fantastic midget. Oh, it's just another gnome. Come and see the giant human cow. Oh, it's a tauren. Come and see the bearded lady. Oh, it's a dwarf. Never mind. Good try, Blizzard. We'll see what happens. Now, another feature coming up. This is a more useful feature rather than a less fun feature. Battle Masters. Basically, to cut a long story short without reading the patch notes, it's going to be a way of getting into the Battlegrounds without going to the Battlegrounds entrance, which is quite cool for those, especially the LV Alliance pansies over in Ashenvale, who've been complaining recently that their entrance to Warsong Gulch is in contested territory, and the Horde entrance is in Horde territory. So, let's see, can I find the locations? The locations of these are going to be as follows. The Hall of Arms in Ironforge is going to be the place where you can enter Alterac Valley. In Darnassus, next to the Warrior Trainer, you can send your Alliance characters into Warsong Gulch. Now for the Horde, the Battle Masters are going to be in the Valley of Honor in the Hall of the Brave, and that's for Warsong Gulch. Apparently they're both going to be the same place. There's going to be 2 NPCs in the Hall of the Brave, and they're both going to take you to the different battlegrounds, so be careful which one you go in. Seemingly, of course, the guards will give directions to them, which is always helpful, finding such places. So, yes. That's going to be quite interesting. A very handy and useful feature. But it doesn't solve the queuing problems, does it? And that's always got me quite confused. It's amazing that there's so many people want to get in the Battlegrounds, and yet so few actually can, and it's not because of the servers filling up. And apparently I've been told this. If you go to Warsong Gulch, and you've got 2 raid groups of 9, and you both apply to a battleground, neither of you will actually get in. Crazy. Utterly crazy talk. And the amount of imbalanced things I've actually had in Warsong Gulch where we've entered and there's only been 4 Alliance. It's been awful. I don't know what can be done about the queuing system. I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I'm thinking, well, actually, how did you manage to get it so messed up? Apparently, when you got the 10, it opens up a new instance, and it dumps you in there. But that's obviously not the case, because otherwise how would we be getting 10v4? You're not seriously telling me that over on the other side there's only 4 Alliance in the queue. So where have they gone? I don't know. I really do not know, and it's very confusing, but it is quite irritating to not be able to get in the Battlegrounds and spending ages and ages trying to get in there. On the plus side, of course, it means that we won't have everyone grinding the heck out of it and all wearing exalted Uber gear from Alterac Valley, which is cool. But hopefully that'll be sorted out. It does get quite irritating. Okay. So those are the 2 new, apparently exciting features. The rest is nerfs, buffs, and that kind of general balance. The biggest nerf, Will of the Forsaken. Now, a lot of people have been saying, oh, it's about time. I have no real opinion on Will of the Forsaken, but then I wouldn't because I play Horde all the time. Will of the Forsaken does not affect me in any way. But I could see how being immune to fear and that kind of thing for 20 seconds as a racial talent would be extremely powerful. To be honest, I find it quite unfortunate that they've gone down the nerfing route for that one. They've clubbed it with the nerf bat and taken the duration of Will of the Forsaken down to 5 seconds from, I believe, 20. It's a shame that they went down that route, because I've always been an advocate of buff over nerf. I think Will of the Forsaken is an example of a racial talent which got it right, and everything else is in fact just not quite as effective as it should be, rather than the other way around, in that Will of the Forsaken is too effective. Now, I can see the logic behind Blizzard saying, okay, well, there's been a lot of whining, even though whining doesn't get things done. It's obviously an issue for the community. We'll look into it. Someone's looked into it and thought, actually, yeah, that is quite powerful. Let's nerf it. Now, it's unfortunate that it didn't go and say, well, that's powerful. Let's use it as benchmark for everything else and buff all the other talents. That would have been nice. That really, 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 really would have been the thing that has to be done. But, well, we really cannot complain. We are getting a lot of extra stuff. Okay. That's the main thing. Now, other racial buffs include... They've buffed up Cannibalize. That's, of course, another undead racial. They've increased the regeneration to 35% of a character's total health over 10 seconds. Pretty good. Well worth using. Of course, the stone form racial for the dwarves has also been changed, and you can now use it to cancel self-inflicted poison effects. Now, when was the last time you actually poisoned yourself? Can you poison yourself? I don't know. I've never been one to use poison, as I'm not a rogue, but is it possible to poison yourself? And will that actually be all that useful? I don't know. Other changes. The fist weapons will now have a normal chance to parry all weapons used. Fantastic. Unfortunately, there's only about 3 fist weapons in the game. They're all pants. Let's have some more fist weapons. Give us more weapons, especially fists. I mean, that's quite interesting. I like fist weapons. I think they're a good idea. It's more interesting than the usual kind of thing of sword, shield, axe, that kind of thing. Fist weapons. Now, that's a little bit more... It's a little bit more sort of getting into it. Doing some damage. Getting the boot in. Fantastic. However, that's not the best kind of thing, is it? It's like going up to someone who's bleeding to death out of every orifice and offering them a plaster. No. But we need more fist weapons. Yes, as Belrio's... Oh, very, very fantastic. Yeah. 2 people have now picked up on that joke. A little bit obvious. Get your minds out of the gutter, people. Belrio says, I love fisting people. And Mordechai says, I like the idea of fisting people. Perverts! There. Oh well. Yeah, so they're changing those. The rest, to be honest, is not all that interesting and certainly not worth going over. If you want to read the rest of it, it's all over the place. I'll upload it to my website after I've finished, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, but I'm sure someone in the channel can give you a link to the rest of the patch notes. But yeah. Now, after all this kind of whining and stuff, I came across a fantastic little comment by Cadium, where she basically said the designers do not design on based on popular opinion. And I thought, about time someone said that. Because people have this mistaken idea that whining will get things done. Sorry. I've been drinking too much lemonade today. They have this idea that whining will get things done, and they would be absolutely and totally incorrect. Wrong. It doesn't. It never has. It never will. You have to be a weak company of developers to cave into that kind of thing. Because the definition of a whine is an unbased, whingy, irritating little comment. It differs from constructive criticism. That's what people need to realise. There's a difference between whining and constructive criticism. There ain't anything wrong with constructive criticism. Bringing up a well-argued, well-reasoned point is fantastic. It's one of the best things you can do as a member of the community. I don't suggest you do more. Far more of it. But it got me thinking. And it got me thinking about what I could do for this week's Nubcake News. And if you haven't actually had a chance to listen to Blue Please before, and you've never heard the Nubcake News is satirical. So if you don't like satire, that's the disclaimer. Switch off for the next 3 minutes. And this is about design. So here's Nubcake News, folks. You listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. Enjoy. Welcome to this week's edition of Nubcake News, sponsored by the Society for the Prevention of Goddamn Morons. Here are the headlines this week. Community managers all over the globe have been struggling to prevent the impending riots as millions of screaming WoW players have taken to the streets in protest over a recent remark made by Grand Wizard Cadium. This remark, dubbed by critics as the word of Satan, contained the following blasphemy. The developers do not design based on popular opinion. This remark sent shockwaves rippling across the civilized world as kiddies the world over attempted to come to terms with the fact that Blizzard is not designing the game around them. A representative from the Players for a Better Azeroth Foundation, Overlord Fizzyweek, took some time out from his favourite hobby of puppy kicking to talk to us. We refute any such allegations that the developers know better than the players as to how to take the game forward as heresy against the Lord. We will hunt down those responsible with great vengeance and furious anger, for they do sin in thine eyes. We all pay our hard-earned money to Blizzard to play this game, and as such, we demand the ability to dictate how the game should progress, since we know best. Before we could stop him, Mr. Fizzywick dragged us into his inner sanctum and played us what he's dubbed the Holy Word, what everyone else has dubbed a proposal for a better Warcraft. We can exclusively play this for you tonight, only on Nubcake News.
In the world of Azeroth, we have created a new type of war. Play whichever class you like. Every one of them is both Imber and nerfed. Fight each other with dolphins with big frickin' lasers attached to their heads. Get your tier 2 armor set in only 5 minutes solo. A new type of gaming experience based on the will of the players, where the term working as intended will get you burned at the stake. Earn your nerf stick and arm your buff cannon and declare holy war on the infidels. Subscribe to World of Arsecraft today.
When asked whether or not they'd be implementing these changes, Blizzard President Daniel What's-His-Face issued the following statement. In response to these demands, we have fired our entire development team and replaced them with a large basket of fruit. This delicious new addition to the Blizzard family will ensure that every player's demand is met, and every suggestion, no matter how ridiculous, is implemented into the game as soon as possible. We'll also be offering a rebranded form of cyanide to our customers, which we will label Super Happy Pills. These will ensure a more active role in our development process as valued customers. Yeah, that's it, customers. We would ask all listeners to come to the station as soon as possible to receive your Super Happy Pill. We guarantee you that it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This has been Nubcake News. Good night.